He literally grew up in like the coolest neighborhood ever.
We're driving now in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we're about to pass by the Larry Fine mural. We passed by it and we went around another time just to take this video. Larry Fine apparently grew up in this area. In the video, he is holding in the mural, he is holding his violin. I believe it's a scene from the episode, I think it was called Punch Drunks. In that episode, the Stooges enter Curly into a boxing match. And whenever he hears this song, what was it? Pop Goes the Weasel. He's able to fight very well without any. So Larry was playing Pop Goes the Weasel, and then so here we see John's Bar and Grill, and then up there. Well, maybe it's not from that one. That looks like maybe an older Larry. But there's the mural of Larry Fine.
This is birthplace of Larry Fine.
Yeah. John's Bar and Grill, birthplace of Larry Fine. So, the reason why Larry played the violin was because when he was a child, he burned himself very much with acid. And the doctor said in order to rehabilitate his arm that was burned with the acid, he should learn to play the violin. He joined the Three Stooges after him and his wife, Mabel Haney, had an act together in vaudeville, and Ted Healy discovered him. Ted Healy had an act with Moe and Shemp, the Horowitz brothers, known as the Howard brothers, and a few other Stooges, and they were looking for another member of the act, and that's when Larry joined. They did make one movie with Moe and Shemp. Moe is credited, the name of the movie was Soup to Nuts, and it was made by MGM, and it was actually written and featured Rube Goldberg. And that was the first movie that Moe, Shemp, and Larry appeared in together with Ted Healy. I don't think they were billed as the Stooges then. And like I said, I think Moe was actually credited as Harry Horowitz. His name was Moses Harry Horowitz, or Harry Howard, perhaps. Harry Howard. Though Shemp, I think, was already Shemp Howard. Larry was already Larry Fine. His real name was Louis Feinberg. But Shemp couldn't put up with Ted Healy's drinking and abuse of the Stooges. So he left, and Curly, their brother Jerome, Yehuda Leib, he joined the act. And but Moe, Larry, Moe, Shemp, and Curly were brothers, and Larry was. They were from Brooklyn. Larry was also Jewish. And then later, after Shemp died, Joe Besser joined the act. Joe Besser was also Jewish, but after Joe Besser quit the act in 1958, Joe DeRita, who was also born in Philadelphia, joined the act. He was the only of the main Stooges who wasn't Jewish. As I was saying, so Curly joined the act, and then look at those lights there. It's something interesting. So Curly joined the act with Ted Healy.
You're stuck.
And then all three of them couldn't put up with Ted Healy with his drinking and his abuse, so they left MGM and signed a deal with Columbia. What actually happened was Moe and Larry, both on the same day, signed contracts with different studios. Moe signed a contract with Columbia Pictures, and Larry signed a contract with Universal Pictures. The contracts were not only dated, but they had.
You guys want to go to my old house, or you want to go home?
They had a timestamp.
What?
How far is it?
A few blocks.
They had a timestamp. So because Moe signed the timestamp before Larry, the Stooges belonged to Columbia, as they did for the rest of their career, with a few exceptions. Columbia did release them to make other pictures. I think they made one picture called Swing Parade with Monogram Pictures, which was a Poverty Row studio. And I think they made a few other pictures with MGM, actually. I think Rocking the Rockies was with MGM. And I think Snow White and the Three Stooges, I'm not sure which studio that was. I think that one was not Columbia, but all the rest of the features that were made with Curly Joe were with Columbia. What actually wound up happening was that after first Curly got sick, so Shemp replaced him. He retired in 1947. He did appear in one short with Mo, Larry, and Shemp called "Hold That Lion," where he had a cameo in 47. Maybe it was actually 46. I think that Curly retired. Shemp joined the act. Curly died in 1952, and Shemp died in 1955. So when Shemp died, they replaced it with Joe Besser. Once the contract was up in 58, so Columbia thought that was it, and and they didn't really pay the Stooges really what they were worth. Columbia had a big library of short subjects that they sold to television at a very low price. So in the late 50s, early 60s, they started showing the old Three Stooges shorts on TV from Columbia, similarly to how they started to show the old Our Gang shorts from MGM on TV. They called it the Little Rascals.
Guys, stop fighting. Stop fighting.
And look at this, Masquerade Experience the Magic Superstore. Is that place open?
I don't know.
So,
Is it open?
I can't tell. I don't think so. So anyway, Pep Boys. Didn't the Stooges used to do commercials for Pep Boys?
Go down this way?
I don't know. No, they did. No, they can't. No, actually, they did commercials for what do you call it? What was it? Wax. It was a car wax. I don't remember. Do you remember which car wax that was?
I don't.
Something. Anyway, so when the Stooges became popular on television, they would make, before that they would make little appearances, and they'd make a few dollars here and there in a nightclub, something. Once they became popular, all the little kids wanted to see them. It looks closed.
Yeah, we're gonna drive past it anyways because it looks so cool from the street.
Yeah. So they and they were getting all this money for live appearance, everything. Columbia Pictures wanted them back. So Mo's son-in-law, Norman Maurer, who was a film producer, actually had Mo in a sci-fi movie around that time, 1958, called, I think, Rocket Ship X7 or something along those lines.
I want to enter the Dunkin' Donuts. Is there a way out of this? No.
I think you just go left. So there's the drive-in for the Dunkin' Donuts. So anyway, they made a deal with
Okay, everybody
Columbia
look out Tati's side. You're gonna see a crazy Halloween store. Look. It is closed or else we would go in. Look, isn't it amazing?
So Norman Maurer was able to get them a good deal with Columbia Pictures to come back, and that's really how the Stooges became famous once again. And really, the reason why their act is immortalized in a sense because of the TV
Relax.
popularity.
Why don't you take a nap?
So that's a little bit of the history here. The Three Stooges in Philadelphia. There's a lot more to talk about. Larry passed away in L.A. He's buried there, as are Moe and Shemp and Curly. And actually, Moe, Shemp, and Curly's parents are also buried in California. Their father, Solomon Shloime, he has a very frum matzeva, a very, very orthodox sounding tombstone, as does Curly. Moe and Shemp, though, were buried in the mausoleum in the same cemetery, and don't have the whole Hebrew writing and everything on there. They don't even have tombstones, really. They're in the crypt, whereas Curly had the proper Kvuras Yisrael. I don't know if Curly predeceased their parents. I'm not sure about that. Curly died very young, as did Shemp, so that's part of the history there. I don't know where Joe Besser was from.
What did Curly and Shemp die from?
Curly had a stroke, and he was sick for about 6 years. Shemp had a heart attack. He was in a car on the way home from a what do you call it? From a boxing match, actually, and that is where that's how he became. That's how he died. He had a heart attack in the taxi cab. He didn't drive, Shemp. He was very afraid of driving. He wet the bed. That's why he was putter. He had the exemption from the draft in World War I.
For wetting the bed?
For wetting the bed.
Really?
Yeah, they have in the Stoogium in Ambler, Pennsylvania, which is not far from here, about an hour from here. They have the actual letter that Shemp had to be exempt from the companion animals and supplies monster pets. Is that open? Probably not. Look at that place. Monster pets. Companion animals and supplies. Tropical fish. Self-store.
Really
the beer peddlers.
This got cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah. So that episode I was talking about with the punch drunks. So Larry, he broke his violin, and that's why he wasn't able to play Pop Goes the Weasel, so that Curly could win the boxing match. So he had to run and get a radio that was playing Pop Goes the Weasel, so that Curly could win the boxing match. And so in the Nintendo game with the Three Stooges, that's one of the games, is that you're Larry running to go get from Ziegler's radio a radio to play, and if you get it back there in time. Well, this is where Jomar is, Retail Treasures. Look at that.
Yeah, I used to shop here. I used to get clothes.
Yeah. So I think
And every once in a while I find like a really good deal.
Oh, Fright Factory. Look at that. And Ghost. You want to go to a haunted house? All right, well, we rambled on for about 14 minutes about the history of the Three Stooges. Obviously, there's a lot more to talk about.
This is so different. This used to be so bad, and it's so nice now.
It's gentrified.
Look at it. It looks so much nicer.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I get moed. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you all later.